Welcome back, everybody, to the Prescribing Possibility podcast. Today, I have the honor of speaking with two incredible young women, Jaimie and Brooke DiPalma, and we are going to talk about mental health. We are going to talk about breaking barriers and stigmas, and we are most importantly going to talk about PS I Love You Day, which is coming up in February on the second Friday, the 13th this year of 2026. So, welcome to the podcast, ladies.
Thank you. We're
Hi,
so
thank
happy
you
to
so much
be
for having
here.
us.
So thrilled to have you. I feel like PS I Love You is just kind of like part of the family because we've heard about it since the very beginning in our house. Um, Please, can you share with the listeners who may not be as familiar with PS I Love You Day, kind of what was the inspiration?
Yeah, so PS I Love You Day was founded by Jamie and myself and a small town in Long Island called West Islip, our community. And it was a tragedy that actually inspired PS I Love You Day, creating something so good and so amazing out of something tragic that happened to our family. I was 14 at the time and Jamie was 17, and we lost our dad to suicide. And I was only in eighth grade. It was a week after my 14th birthday, and he had dropped me off. That Friday morning was so beautiful. It was like this blue sky day. And he said, I love you, as he did every morning before I walked out of that car. And with those last three words, about 6, 7 months later, our family and our friends and everyone decided to come together and create something good. And that good was PS I Love You Day, using those last three words, I love you, to just try to get everyone together, try to inspire and ask people to wear purple on the second Friday of February. We were hoping that just by seeing someone else wear the same color, you knew that you weren't alone. And we really hoped to get the conversation going. And to think of when this was 16 years ago. And
Mm-hmm.
at the time in 2010, when we told people that we lost our dad to suicide, we were met with gasps and tears in people's eyes. And it was really difficult for us to share what had happened to us. And so PS Love You Day was sort of our way of coping, definitely mine way of coping with the
Yeah.
situation, and just to be able to bring my dad up and our dad up in a positive light, because that's who he was. He was this positive, bubbly person who was just such a community hero, really.
Yeah. I mean, I think, thank you so much for sharing that, first of all. And I think it's one of those sorts of topics that, a lot of people shy away from having these kinds of conversations because it makes us uncomfortable. And I think by creating something so beautiful and powerful, you have not only started this conversation, you're honoring your dad's memory, you're bringing up really important topics, and you're really kind of focused on young people, on teenagers and schools. So what was the like the initial plan? Like, what was, when you start something like this, like people don't even know it's possible to create these sorts of organizations, right?
Right.
Like, what was the initial plan? Where did you see it going? I'm just so curious about like how it's transformed over time.
Yeah.
So so Brooke came to me and my mom about the idea, like saying, this is what I think I want to do, like for to help me. And we jumped on board, and Brooke went to her high school about it and said she wanted to have an assembly to share her story, which I give her credit because I don't think I could still go in front of 700 kids. But
Yeah.
she, wanted to share her story, share the story of what she wanted to do to help with mental health awareness. And I said, okay, I'm going to bring it to Cortland. I was a freshman at Cortland at the time. So that was kind of where we're like, okay, let's do this. We're going to initiate it to be starting on the second Friday of February, right around Valentine's Day, giving
Hmm.
those that need that extra love. Because as we know, Valentine's Day is a very beautiful Hallmark holiday. But for those that don't have someone that is their Valentine, it can be also very lonely. So moving this initiative to start on that second Friday of February, Brooke brought it to high school. I brought it to Cortland, and that kind of is where the birth of PS I Love You Day started.
It's amazing. It's like start where you can start.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right?
Just get going. Like I said to you before, just really just try once. And then I think when people saw what Jaimie had done at Cortland, and then Jaimie and I had made this YouTube video, which it feels like so easy to do now, but at the time, 16 years ago, not many people were doing it. And we had told the story of PS Levy Day in this YouTube video, and that's how it just was the second year. We didn't really think, spread it beyond our schools, but that YouTube video really started to spark ideas within other schools. Even a local high school, junior high school near Cortland reached out to us, ironically, just sort of this really incredible thing. And then Jaimie was able to take it even further up there. And then other, Long Island based high schools as well were interested in doing it too, after hearing that West Islip had supported it.
That's amazing. So I'm curious, what does it look like when a school, comes on board, right, to participate? So like, what were you doing in Cortland and how did that differ from what you were doing in high schools? I'm so curious, like how each place was expressing their day,
Yeah.
So with Cortland, we started very small. I went to my dorm the dorm advisor. I forgot the proper name for it, but basically
The RA, right?
The RA.
The RA. Oh my gosh, I'm having a flashback. I went to her and brought up the idea of like this initiative, and she spoke to her advisor, and basically they got me a little microphone at Corey Union, which was like the student center, and I spoke in front of like whoever showed up, and we had little bags with lanterns in them. And then after that, preceding my little speech, it was a stand in Corey Union with little purple ribbons. And that was really where it started with PS I Love You Day at Cortland. It was very tiny, very small, but just anything to get the word out.
Yeah. And then how does it so then like a local school decides they want to get involved. So what are like high schools and middle schools, like what kind of activities and kind of events are they running, and how does it, I'm sure you have lots of stories from them as to how it's impacted their student bodies.
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear.
There's so many different schools have taken it so many different ways. They have taken it to just celebrating the day. They have done it to a week leading up to it. The high schools really do a nice job of making sure that they're getting that mental health conversation going so that students in that student body aren't uncomfortable to talk about their feelings. The counselors at the school are working to make sure that they have different activities where students can express like conversations that make them uncomfortable, or just know that there's a support system for them. Also just educating the teenagers on how important it is to know what supports are available when you're in a moment of crisis.
Mm.
And to just
And then
really
obviously
know.
wearing purple too.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and I was just gonna add, it's like getting the conversation going in high school, just like knowing it's okay to not be okay, and wearing purple, but then also what Jaimie started with and what I started with too is like these positive post-its. So you walk into these schools, and I mean, at the time, we just sort of put them sporadically, but some schools even go as far, thanks to like incredible student leaders, of putting a post-it note on every single locker. So you walk in, and just to see every single locker, see something like "You're incredible, you're amazing, you're worth it, you're valued." It like brings chills to us, because never in our wildest dreams did we think that this would be 16 years of doing this. And like Jaimie said, just the way in which schools take it upon themselves to think of these incredible ideas is truly amazing. And kudos to Jaimie and our student ambassadors and our committee within PS Levy Day too, because they create this entire resource packet. So when you sign up on our site, they get sent this, like, Jaimie, how many pages? It's like 30 pages of just activities that these schools can do and just ways to get involved. So like positive post-it notes, signs, flyers, worksheets, conversation starters. It's incredible to see a day that we just wanted people to get started talking about mental health has now evolved into this amazing, even week-long activities.
it's so inspiring, honestly. Like, to think that you were 14, and, most kids can't imagine the absolute tragedy of what was going on in your family. And you have this thought, like, I want to do something about it,
Yeah.
right? Like, I want to both remember my dad the way I remember him,
Mhm.
and I want to make a difference. I don't want people to like pity me. I want to do something. Like, that is amazing at 14. I just have to say that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
14-year-old Brooke was fierce.
I know. I'm looking for that attitude now.
No,
I will
no,
say that
still there. It's
it's
still
still
there.
there. It is. And I think too is like when Jaimie and I were 14 and 17, at least, maybe Jaimie had a little, not chip on her shoulder, but she was older. And so she definitely saw the world in a different way than I did. But I had this
Yeah.
very utopian view of the world. And I tried to never lose that, because I think that that's what allowed me to do this, is that I didn't care that I was 14. I didn't care
Hmm.
what people thought. I just wanted to make a difference. And I ended my first assembly, like Jaimie said, in front of all my peers by saying, if one person in this audience is impacted by what we all just shared on the stage, then my dad's legacy will live on forever. And I think
Mm,
that that's the way that Jaimie and I see this day, is that every event that we do, if we're just changing one person, if we're just inspiring one more person. And I think that that's what makes this day so special, is that it's just grassroots. It's we're not putting large like marketing dollars behind it. We're not putting
right.
splashy ads. We're just saying, just spread the word, just get the
Hmm.
conversation started. And to still have that mentality now 16 years later, that mentality has carried us through, Jaimie getting through college, me getting into college, Jaimie getting engaged, getting married, me, getting engaged. And it's sort of like it's just gone with us through all these chapters of our lives, because we were open, for lack of a better word, for this year's theme is we were open to that light. We were open
Yeah.
to finding that light. And I think that's what has transpired. So it was that small spark within us that just has really, luckily, gravitated towards others feeling the same way to want to do this day.
Yeah. And that had to be I mean, a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old, very different, to your point, like, views on life and the world and all of the things, right?
Yeah.
So, Jaimie, I'm curious, like, when this all started, how did you, like, what was your initial reaction? Like, were you on board? Were you kind of like,
I mean, definitely hesitation.
I'm curious.
Not gonna lie, definitely hesitation. Like, how are we gonna do this?
Yeah.
Because also, selfish like college me is like I just want to enjoy my time in, like part of me, obviously,
Yeah.
like when you're enjoying going to college, you're like, I'm 17, I'm in a new start.
Hmm.
But I did feel like getting that getting that backlash, not so much backlash, I guess is not the right word, but when you're sharing your story and people are like, are you actually sharing actually what happened? People
Hmm.
weren't being honest about loved ones passing away by suicide. They were,
Right.
not sharing the full story, which I understand the struggles of that. But to see that they were scared for judgment, and that's kind of what I
Mm.
feel fueled me, is that I didn't want people to feel scared to share their story, because then they're missing out on support that they really could be receiving from loved ones
Yeah.
and family and friends.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I can only imagine, like, you go to college and you're like, yeah, I didn't sign up for this life part, right?
Yeah.
It's had to be really challenging, and I tip my hat to you for, like, looking at it in such a mature way at such a young age. Like, the two of you, I really admire and respect. I don't know how much, like, Kelly has told you, but I have been watching what you've been doing from afar, and it really is just remarkable. And part of the reason I wanted to have you on the podcast was because, um, I look to try and bring people a viewpoint of, like, what's possible if we don't tell ourselves we can't do something, right? Because
Right.
that's what happens a lot. What is possible? And I think the two of you have demonstrated it doesn't matter, if you've been to college. It doesn't matter that you graduated high school. It doesn't matter. Any of those things don't matter. It just matters that you think it's possible. And then, beautiful things can happen, and the impact, I mean, I can't imagine the impact, and I'm sure you two don't even know all of the impact you've had over time. Have any of the schools shared with you any of the feedback they've gotten from their communities or students?
Yeah. I think what's so amazing is I get a little bit of time off from, I'm a full-time journalist and I get to do this on the side. And what's amazing is when I go into these schools around PSLW Day, is sometimes schools will share with me and say that this student was suffering and we had no idea. And now they're going to counseling regularly, they're talking to somebody. And it's the students at the end that I love. They'll come up and they'll just hug me. And I think that just goes to show. I literally like tearing. I'm thinking about it because I just,
Yeah.
they feel this connection to the story, and we know that they're going home and maybe they're talking for the first time with their parents, or they're talking to a teacher. It's really about
Yeah.
opening up that conversation that is so amazing. It's opening up, that possibility of what the future could look like when they've only seen the darkness. And
Yeah.
so it's really incredible, and just to feel the energy, feel the positivity on this day. I'm not gonna lie, for some people it's difficult because you look around and PS Levy Day can be seen as, yes, a celebration of hope and light and brightness, but at the same time, it is difficult for some people to have that sort of attitude when they're going through something tough. And so I also hope that it feels like a warm hug in the way.
Mm.
And I think that that's what it also brings. And so schools have shared all that with us, is that, it gets the conversation started. But also, like, what's so cool, and Jaimie could speak to this, is that there's schools that have been celebrating for 16 years, for 15 years, for
Amazing.
12 years. So these students have gone through PS Levy Day their whole life, right, Jaimie?
Yes, they have been celebrating for like since the initiation of it. People who hopped on board, people who have just heard it through word of mouth. Also, as an elementary school teacher, I have had seen it like really start from where I've had students that I've taught, and they were like during my first time of bringing PS I Love You Day to them. Now they've graduated and they've really seen it from like the start from their elementary career, and hearing their take on it. And because the way PS I Love You Day works in the elementary school level, there isn't those deep conversations. It's really just being that, knowing that you're that person that is going to spread kindness. You're going to be that good friend that is there for someone when they're upset. And then they see how, as you get older, the conversation gets a little more deep. It has a little more of an impact in a different way. And to see them understand how PS I Love You Day transforms as they get older, to having those mature conversations is really nice too. And having them reflect as high school students back on their elementary is really cool. And we've had nice conversations with people in other districts too on how it's impacted their elementary to high school career.
That's incredible when you think about it, right? Like with between bullying and all of, like, and now there's the whole cyberbullying, which I'm a little older than you girls, but we didn't deal with that as
Yeah.
much. Like it was not, I mean, maybe towards like high school it was definitely a thing for you, but like I don't know, in elementary school there's bullying. It's
Yeah.
heartbreaking. So even the way you've described it, like it's age and developmentally appropriate support and encouragement of just kindness, and God, don't we need that in the world right
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
So for anyone who's listening who is thinking, hey, that would be really great to bring to my school or to my organization or my business, how would they, is it too late for this year is my first question. And if not, what do they do? And then what might that look like for them?
So they can head to our website, PS Love You
Hmm.
Day, and there's a register button, and you could just sign up through there. And I know I mentioned it before, but within that resource packet that then you will get once you sign up, is there's tons of activities, not only for elementary and middle and high school and colleges, like colleges even doing like yoga classes, which you don't need to do just this year, but there's just flyers on how businesses can get involved. And at the end of the day, it's as simple as wearing purple on the second Friday of February. So sign up so we know and we can interact with you guys that you're a part of this day, but it's truly just as simple as wearing purple, a purple ribbon, a purple scarf on this day. And if someone asks, so, I like your scarf or I like your purple shirt, tell them you're wearing it for PS I Love You Day. And it's for mental health awareness. It's for spreading kindness. It's a day of positivity. And so it's really just as simple as that. And I think that just goes back to show, like, yes, this has evolved into a huge, we have more than 600 schools and communities and businesses celebrating with us, but it's really just as simple. It's insane. It's amazing.
I love it.
But it's just as simple as wearing purple on the second Friday of February and maybe telling one person about what PS Levy Day is.
Yeah, it's like smiling at the stranger on the street.
Exactly.
Like, you don't know how that changes their life potentially, right?
Yeah.
My gosh, I love it. I love it. Jaimie, what do you see in the next couple of years of PS I Love You? Are there things in the hopper, or is it get the word out as much as possible?
Always get the word out. But this year we actually started really fun initiative with our donations. We were able to do a bench giveaway to we had like a bench contest where 5 locations could earn to get a bench. They submitted through a contest and we received over 60 submissions. So it was very hard for the board to pick, but it was really moving to see how many people were impacted by PS I Love You Day. So we used donations to get benches. So we're hoping that continues next year. We're going to continue to donating to mental health facilities and helping them create different programs for their inpatient and outpatient. And just really getting the donations going to a good place where mental health assistance is needed.
Yeah, those buddy benches are really they're amazing in how much they change kids' lives. They put one in my daughter's elementary school when she was there. Her friend actually was behind getting it there, and it was amazing to see how much use it got.
Yeah, no, it is really nice.
So you're doing amazing work in the world. You both are, and it's I'm honored to know you, and I'm so grateful for the work that you do. My merch should be here in time. Kyla and I ordered stuff.
Oh yeah.
So Be the Light is the theme for 2026, your 16th PS I Love You Day. Is there anything that I haven't mentioned that you would like to share with the audience before we wrap up and go find our purple for the next couple weeks?
So Be the Light, just maybe talking about the theme for this year. And it really is just emphasizing.
Sure.
Every year we have a different theme, and this year is emphasizing on being that light in the dark times. So if you're listening and it's the dark of winter, just know that the light is there. And whether it's physical light, the sunlight that will come, or a light from a friend or a loved one, the light is coming for you, and stay strong.
Thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful. Anything else, Brooke?
I would just say that if you have an idea or if you're going through a hard time, just know that there is something on the other side that, I really love the title of this podcast because there is a possibility to create something even bigger than you ever imagined. You just have to think it's possible, and you just have to take a first step. So if you learned anything, yes, we hope that you wear your purple every second Friday of February, but 2, just know that you can create something with the support of the loved ones around you and by believing that the light is there.
Yeah. Well, the two of you are truly a light in the world. And for the listeners, just to remind them that we have the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988. They can call and text. And we're going to put the resources, both that are on your website and some of the others for our local community, in our show notes. Should anybody feel they need support, support is always available.
Yes.
So, Brooke and Jaimie DiPalma, thank you so very much for your
Thank
time.
You,
Stay warm. Stay warm. We're in the middle of Snowmageddon, so
thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.